chapter for Science Book 2, which is Human Health. So I hope this video will help you to understand this chapter. Thank you.
4. Human health. Infectious and non-infectious diseases. A disease is an abnormal condition of body or mind that causes discomfort, difficulty to function, or stress to an individual. Diseases can be classified into two. First, infectious disease, caused by infection of pathogens directly through mediums and vectors. A disease that can be transmitted from one individual to another. Second, non-infectious disease, caused by genetic factor or lifestyle. A disease that cannot be transmitted from one individual to another. How infectious diseases spread. Infectious diseases are spread by pathogens, the organisms that cause diseases. The pathogens transmitted from an infected person, also known as host, to another person through vectors and mediums such as water, air, and contact. The host is a victim who is easily infected. Airborne diseases. Droplet transmission. Pathogen containing droplet sprays from the mouth and nose of an infected person through sneezing, coughing, and breathing. Dust transmission. Bacteria in the spit or saliva of an infected person dry up and form spores which spread together with the dust in the air. How to prevent airborne diseases. Cover the mouth and nose when sneezing or coughing. Do not spit everywhere. Avoid being in a crowded place. Ensure the living place gets enough light, as ultraviolet rays can kill certain microorganisms in the air. Waterborne diseases. Waterborne diseases infection happens in areas with inadequate water supply and poor sanitation. A person can be infected if he drinks the contaminated water. Floods can also spread infectious diseases. How to prevent waterborne diseases. Add chlorine into swimming pools and water supply system. Build toilet with good sanitation. Boil drinking water properly. Wash hands with soap after using toilet. Infection of diseases through contact. Accidentally touching the infected skin, wearing the clothes of an infected person, sexual intercourse, syringe sharing among patients and among drug addicts. Infection of diseases through vectors. Some pathogens are transmitted from one host to another new host through animals. Animals that transmit these pathogens are called vectors. For example, mosquito as vector and dengue virus as pathogen. The mechanism to prevent the spread of infectious diseases. Primary stage. Improving health, strengthening the body's defense system, frequent health checkups, maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Secondary stage. Determining transmission of infections through active and passive case detection. Tertiary stage. Controlling vector populations and protecting hosts. Body defense. Pathogens enter the body through the respiratory system, digestive system, excretory system, and skin. There are three lines of defense. First line of defense, skin. The human skin is made of a tough layer and is difficult to be penetrated by microorganisms. Microorganisms can only get into the body if there is a wound or if the skin is injured. Sweat and sebum secreted by the skin contain chemicals that can kill microorganisms. Mucous membrane. Mucous membrane is a membrane that lines the digestive tract and respiratory tract. Microorganisms that enter the respiratory tract are filtered by nasal hairs and trapped by mucous lining and the nasal cavity. Example of mucous membrane are earwax and tears. Second line of defense, phagocytosis. White blood cells engulf and digest the pathogens using enzymes through phagocytosis. Third line of defense, body immune system. Immunity is the ability of the body system to resist pathogens before it is infected. It involves the production of antibodies when pathogens enter the body. Antibody, a protein produced by white blood cells into the bloodstream in response to antigens. Antigen, a foreign substance that comes from outside the body and induces the production of antibodies. Passive immunity and active immunity. Immunity can be classified into two types. First, passive immunity. The body gains antibody from external sources. Natural. Obtained when a baby receives antibody from breast milk. The immunity is temporary and short-lived. Artificial. Obtained when an anti-serum is injected into the patient's body. The immunity is fast and temporary. Active immunity. The body produces its own antibodies when stimulated by antigens. Natural. Occurs when a person recovers from an infection. The immunity lasts long after the infection. Artificial. Occurs when a vaccine that contains a dead or weakened pathogen is injected into the body, and the immune system responds by producing antibodies. Lasts long after the infection. Causes that weaken the immune system: exposure to polluted air, exposure to pesticides, stress, and excessive intake of sugar. Practices that strengthen the immune system: getting enough sleep and rest, exercising and inhaling fresh air, not smoking, and no exposure to cigarette smoke. This is the end of chapter 4. Thank you.